I'm in the Strongman Shed gym here, Vegan Pal Strongman Shed, and just been chopping some wood. And yeah, just took about 10 minutes to cut all this up. Not bad for a vegan strongman. Okay, so this video is on your health because it's important that you chickadee check yourself. Health is very important. On a serious note, heart disease is the biggest killer in the West, and blood pressure, high blood pressure, is closely related to heart disease. There's no doubt about that for sure. So, get yourself a blood pressure monitor and check your blood pressure over several days. See where it's at. You want it to be as close to 100 as possible in systolic. And check out all the information in the video. Hope you enjoy it. Catch you later. Have a good day.
Okay, what's up everybody? Vegan Pal Strongman here. I've got a video for you guys today on my own experiences with high blood pressure and how I reduce my blood pressure. And how I reduce my blood pressure while still gaining muscle and weight, because that doesn't help. But it is possible, absolutely. And what the ideal blood pressure should be. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to start with the ideal blood pressure. So I'm just going to read an excerpt here from How Not to Die. If you're not familiar with Dr. Greger's stuff or nutrition facts, check out nutritionfacts.org or the YouTube channel. Okay, so doctors are taught that a normal systolic blood pressure is approximately 100 plus age. Okay? Indeed, that's what you're born with. Babies start out with a blood pressure of 95 systolic and 60 diastolic. But as you age, that 95 can go up to 120 in your 20s, and by the time you're in your 40s, it can be 140, the official cutoff for high blood pressure, and then it can continue to climb as you get older. So conventional wisdom is that it's okay for you to have a blood pressure of 126 if you're 26 years old. Well, first of all, I think that's wrong, because if we're born with a blood pressure of 95 over 60, then our blood pressure should be staying around 95 over 60 our entire lives. And obviously, genetics are going to account for some differences. But the general population, your blood pressure should be around at least 100 for systolic and somewhere around 60 for diastolic. Most people have more trouble with the systolic, which is the top number. Okay, so what causes high blood pressure? Okay, obesity, alcohol, drug use, smoking, not getting enough sleep, being too stressed out. These are all the most common causes of high blood pressure. Of course, disease and illness, serious sickness, cancer, things like that can increase your blood pressure too. Alright, my situation was, I wasn't obese, as you guys know if you've seen any of my stuff. I was not drinking a lot of alcohol. I very rarely drink alcohol. I don't have caffeine. Caffeine's another thing which can increase your blood pressure. I only occasionally have a cup of tea. I was not consuming any meat, dairy, etc. I was vegan. And being vegan makes it more likely that your blood pressure will be healthier. But for me, it still wasn't. And I didn't have any of the other risk factors. There's one other thing though that causes high blood pressure, and it's a massive cause of high blood pressure in people all around the world, and that is salt. So for me, after seeing the doctor and even getting blood tests, I figured that we went through a process of trial and error, and basically there was nothing left but salt. And I did some research, and reading How Not to Die by Michael Greger helped a lot. And basically salt is a massive factor in blood pressure. So for me, I found that I'm basically salt sensitive. If I have anything over 100 milligrams of salt per 100 grams of food, it has a negative effect on my blood pressure. My blood pressure was about 140 to 150, in that sort of range, 140 to 150 systolic at an age of 25, 26. So it was definitely pre-hypertensive and too high for my age. So anyway, I discovered that salt caused it. Basically, we had very small amounts of salt before agriculture and processed meats and processed foods. Humans only consumed very small amounts of salt because foods naturally don't have much salt in them. If you look at olives, for instance, they don't have any salt in them. It's the fact that we salt them, we process them in salt, and that's what makes them salty. They're actually very bitter when you have them natural. So the point here is that foods, apart from seafood, food in general is low in salt. And until we started flavouring and preserving things with salt, we actually didn't consume much salt at all. The vast majority of evidence says we consume less than 1 gram of salt a day. That's less than 1,000 milligrams of salt. And to put it in perspective, that's, if you have like a packet of 2-minute noodles or something, that's more salt already than your entire daily intake should be. Not everybody is salt sensitive, but if you have found yourself in a similar situation to me, or if you have high blood pressure, I highly recommend that you go vegan, if you're not already, that you cut out salt massively, or at least reduce as much as you can your salt. Okay, so how I reduce my blood pressure apart from salt. There's 3 other things. Drinking plenty of water is really important. The second thing is foods that are high in nitrates are really important. So the top 3 foods in nitrates are rocket lettuce, rhubarb, and beetroot. These foods and other foods such as kale contain nitrates which dilate the blood vessels and allow the heart to have an easier time circulating blood around the body, and this makes the blood pressure lower. So I highly recommend nitrates. For me, beetroot's been the one that I like the most because rocket's very strong, and rhubarb is also very sour. The other thing that will help too is hibiscus tea and flax seeds. All of these things are proven to lower blood pressure, and you can check out the science and nutrition facts or in the book How Not to Die. You can also check out the science on Google Scholar. Okay, so lastly, to finish off, because this video is getting pretty long, if you are looking at lowering your salt intake, you're going to need to learn how to cook, because flavouring food is much harder when you can't use salt. And even most of the cooks and famous chefs around the world use a lot of salt in their cooking, so they're not actually... it's a very easy way out in terms of flavouring food. Number 2, so learn how to cook. Number 2, you're going to need to get creative with flavouring food as well. So savoury things are going to need to be herbs, spices, all that kind of stuff to make the food taste good. I like things like apple cider vinegar, nutritional yeast, chili, herbs, spices, and playing around with the different combinations of different herbs and spices. And I also love flavouring things with citrus like lemon and lime. And number 3, check out SOS vegan food. That is salt, oil, and sugar-free vegan food. You can check out a really good website called Straight Up Food, and that will help you a lot. There's recipes on there without salt, without sugar, and without oil. That's it. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll catch you guys later. Stay strong, and peace.